Now, I think it's fair to say that in a couple of days' time, we're all going to be happy because obviously the half anniversary, that is going to be the beginning of the half anniversary will happen in the next update happening on Thursday, I believe. And from that, a certain someone is going to be in our lobby screen, and I think that's when it truly does settle in. So obviously the light typing right now is looking to be catered to the most in terms of Thomas being a light typing. I'll be surprised if he is any other typing than light. That'll be fairly interesting to see, but from what it looks like, he is looking to be a light typing type character. Now, light typing right now have two of the best top tier units in the game, as in their typing, compared to in a tier list format. Obviously the other DPS type characters are kind of up there in terms of where the remaining typings are like a one below, whereas Cheyenne and Go, I mean, these two characters together are phenomenal, and then Min just on top of it with what he brings to the table is just fantastic. That being said, we are doing the season 5 boss. I did do it just under a minute, and it's a fairly annoying boss, I will say. This is the team. Actually, I'm gonna have to change up the team. Hold on a minute. So Min goes in the actually, hold on a minute. Min goes in the first, Cheyenne goes second, Go goes third. There we go. So gonna go around this slot. This is the Blessing team. Got full cores on. Gonna take Big Rock. That is the character that I'm using for choice. I mean, you could technically go with Vigorous, but yeah. Anyway, so let's just quickly do this run, and then we'll furthermore talk about Thomas, because yeah, light typing is low-key. In terms of like a full team completion, light typing is looking very, very menacing and potentially on top now on what Thomas could be doing. But I know some would say, is he going to be replacing Cheyenne? Alright, so plan of action, you bring over Min, you activate the skill, you use Go to take care of two of the stinky spiders, as I like to say. And then once they're out of business, you head over here, use Cheyenne to get rid of the remaining ones. I could have used my skill there to continue on, but that's fine. And then what you want to do right here is you want to wait for all the spiders to drop down, which I think they have. No, they haven't. There we go. And then you want to kind of go in with Go and scoop them all up so Cheyenne can just kind of do their damage. Now, some of the spiders will, I mean, if you're lucky, when you're killing the final stinky spider, all the spiders might actually drop down prior, so that way you can actually get a quick time. So when this spider spawns in, kill him as fast as possible, and then do QTE with Min. There we go. So that way you start off the main spider with Min in the front, then you activate Min's skill. You don't need to activate Min's ultimate. You just have to go quick for the breakage here, and that is pretty much it. So right now we're just kind of working towards breakage. I'm not even going to bother her. So that skill will screw you over big time if the arachnid just kind of runs away, and that does cause a little bit of a time slip, but that's fine. And then pretty much you want to ult after you do all your skills and hope for a fat crit, and then 117. That is fairly decent, to be fair. If you can get a time around that, that might hit you in the top 10 depending on where you are with your server, but pretty much that's the premise. It is going to be phase 2 that's going to be costing you a lot of the time. If you're unable to get a fat nuke, then of course the phase 3 is going to be costing you a lot of the time. But for me personally, phase 2, having all the medium spiders grouping up, because there's like 3 phases of them dropping down. So kind of scoot yourself into a corner, let them all drop down, get them all coming closer to you. Activate Cheyenne, go with Go, scoop them all in, and then you might be able to bang them out fairly quickly. But yeah, that's pretty much the way to go about this arachnid fight, of course. Now, apologies for the quality. When I was recording this, I kind of goofed up on having a specific setting on, so it looks a kind of bit low in the bitrate type area, of course. But yeah, I decided to fight Kaiser with the light typing team, just to kind of make a statement that light typing is strong, powerful, very threatening, especially with the release of Go, on how much it has kind of elevated the light typing as a whole. It's crazy to see at the very beginning of light typing changing the wave of where solo leveling was going. Right, with the release of Cheyenne, it really just shifted the power increase and just the kind of the difficulty and things, on how more difficult the developers had to make things because of Cheyenne, of how much of a crazy character she was with the DPS power that she possessed, of course. And I think we're officially getting to that point where it's going to happen again, especially with everything that they've pre-announced in terms of like the Monarch skill tree and whatnot, right? I do genuinely feel like Thomas is going to be a breath of fresh air in terms of maybe having some form of uniqueness in terms of, because from last I've heard, they were looking to build him as a tankish DPS type character, of course. Now we've kind of seen something already like that in the likes of Charlotte. Now it's fair to say, compared to the other DPS, and with Charlotte, of course, Charlotte is slightly one under than the others. Fair statement to make. I truly do believe that maybe going forward, with the release of Kaisel and then the Dark support, things might shift in Charlotte's favor to then be maybe up there. We'll just have to kind of see on how things work out, but in terms of kind of just throwing the DPS characters with any other character, Charlotte is still last on the list. Now, with that being taken note of how she's scaling off from defense, they could very well do Thomas in a way where maybe his ultimate has transformation, giving us that Amamiya effect. But at the same time, I'm just trying to think, would they want to do some form of recycling for a anniversary character, that being Thomas, a character that has been hyped up, highly desired for a long period now. It is probably the most requested hunter that everyone has been asking for since the survey that they did, of course, because I mean in the survey they did say that whichever character wins in terms of the voting, which I believe Thomas had like a 48% vote on the amount of people that wanted to see him drop early. Of the constant bombardment of people just saying, when are we getting him, when are we getting him, and you promised that you're going to be dropping him. Lo and behold, he's a half anniversary, of course. So, and I don't think that he's going to be a replacement for Chai-Em. I feel like he's going to be a good DPS. I feel like he's going to be a broken DPS character, but working in a different way. Because if you look at Chai-Em, for me, she's more of a quicker, like a quick time attacking character. She's very fast paced. The build up to then going into her ultimate with what she can accomplish with her skill, that sets her out to be a fantastic nuker, especially with her team and how they support her. I do believe that with Thomas we could find some form of uniqueness where there might be, I don't know, could it be a slow build up? I don't think they're going to make it so that he replaces Cheyenne. I think that will be a very, very bad thing. I think having options is going to be key here. So maybe he's got good AoE span. Maybe he's got good area control, right? Maybe, again, his ultimate could be a form of transformation. To be fair, they could make it so his ultimate is a good form of transformation, which then ultimately gives his skills a bit of a buff up to where he has a good form of area control that not only deals and hits multiple targets, but that can also single-handedly dish out a lot more damage to a single target, of course, or a boss, should I say. If they're specific with the boss line, that could be something where, by applying his second skill, if there's multiple enemies, it does more damage. If it's a specific boss type character, then again you will do more damage. So that way it kind of single outs the wording of if there's only one enemy, for it to be a specific, because technically the one enemy will always be a boss typing, if that makes sense. But I'm just curious on to see, because again, regardless of what Thomas does, he is going to be a highly worth summonable character. I mean, I can't exactly stand here and be like, yep, no point summoning for him, we've got Chai-Yen. Regardless, he's going to be summoned for. Regardless, he's going to be catered for. People are going to try their best to dupe him out. We've all been saving for him. But I will say it'll be very awkward that if he is not a light typing. At the very least, could I see him any other typing? I think the only other typing I could very well see him at is probably wind. But Amamiya Loki is holding that down. And having two transformation on a wind typing, that'll be awkward. Unless they want to switch out to say that December isn't going to be war element, then that could very well be a thing. But just food for thought. Food for thought.